Hello. Привет. um, so I just had this. I saw the AI chat for DuckDuckGo here, so I just wanted to do. Let's just ask it some questions. About the privacy that they had installed. I chose Llama 3 as the AI model because I was under the impression that this was the most open source software model that they had. So this is just what it told me after I asked some questions about privacy. Hello, and hello, nice to meet you, Bloa. Are you truly privacy focused? I'm glad you asked. I'm running through a privacy layer I can't speak, mediated by DuckDuckGo. Means all conversations are completely anonymous. DuckDuckGo doesn't record any of our chats. All metadata that could identify your device, like IP address, is removed before sending my responses. It means that even my model provider, Together.ai, which I actually should have. Well, no, they do that in the next one. So, Together AI can't tie our conversations back to you. Additionally, Together.ai has agreed not to use our chats to train or improve their models, so you can rest assured that your conversation is private and secure. Even if they break the law, even if Together.ai, I didn't mean Together.ai, but we'll get to that. If Together.ai were to break the law, they wouldn't be able to identify you or tie our conversation back to you because they don't have any information that can be used to do so. Your anonymity is protected by DuckDuckGo's privacy layer, which removes all identifiable metadata before sending our conversation to Together.ai. So even in the likely event that Together.ai were to attempt to violate your privacy, they wouldn't have the means to do so. Nice. But no, not Together.ai. I was wondering, if our conversations break the law, are they still anonymous? I understand your question now. Even if our conversations were to break the law, DuckDuckGo's privacy layer ensures that they remain anonymous. Since DuckDuckGo doesn't record our conversations or our chats and removes all identifiable metadata, there's no way to trace our conversations back to you if they're deemed illegal. Your anonymity is protected regardless of the content of our conversations. Nice. Now, how can you assure me that that is true? I can assure you that DuckDuckGo's privacy layer is designed to protect your anonymity. They also have a strong track record of prioritizing user privacy. DuckDuckGo is a well-established, reputable organization built a brand on privacy and transparency. Additionally, DuckDuckGo has publicly disclosed their privacy policies and practices, which are available to anyone to review. They also have undergone independent audits and received certifications from reputable third-party organizations such as Privacy Shield certification. While no system is completely foolproof, DuckDuckGo's commitment to privacy and their transparent practices provide a high level of assurance that your anonymity is protected, even in the likely event that our conversations were to break the law. And so everybody knows about that one time that DuckDuckGo screwed up in terms of privacy, or at least, well, let's ask it. Does the time that DuckDuckGo limited searches coming from Russia's state media disprove that? Referring to the incident in 2022, DuckDuckGo limited searches coming from Russian state media outlets. While this decision was made to comply with sanctions and regulations, it's understandable that may raise some concerns about DuckDuckGo's commitment to privacy and anonymity. However, it's essential to note that this decision was specific to a particular context and doesn't involve compromising user anonymity. DuckDuckGo's privacy policies and practices remain in place, and they continue to protect user anonymity and privacy. In our conversation, your anonymity is still protected. DuckDuckGo's privacy layer ensures that your interactions with me remain private and anonymous. The incident you mentioned was an exceptional case and doesn't affect the privacy guarantees that DuckDuckGo provides to its users. Okay, so now I'm not trying to, do anything illegal, but I do wonder, you know, law enforcement, if law enforcement were like, that would be the thing, right? If if you know, if it truly is anonymous and private, then law enforcement actually doesn't have anything to go on, to go after with regard to the conversation between the AI and me. So let's find out. Uh, there's any way? Is there any way that law enforcement could monitor this? Any other conversation we have? As mentioned earlier, DuckDuckGo's privacy layer removes all identifiable metadata, including IP addresses, before sending our conversations to the model provider together. .ai. This means that law enforcement or any other entity cannot trace our conversations back to your device. Additionally, DuckDuckGo doesn't record or store any conversations, so there's no data for law enforcement to request or access. Even if they were to approach DuckDuckGo with a legal request, there'd be no information to provide. It's worth noting that DuckDuckGo is a U.S.-based company and is subject to U.S. laws and regulations. If a legal request were made, DuckDuckGo would likely challenge it to court to protect user privacy. Let's hope so. However, even in the unlikely event that a court order were issued, DuckDuckGo would not have any identifiable information to provide. So to answer your question, it's highly unlikely that law enforcement could monitor our conversations or obtain any information about you or your device. Your I can't say that word, but it's well protected. So I asked it, be a little pedantic, right? Why highly unlikely and not impossible? I said highly unlikely instead of impossible because in theory there could be some extraordinary circumstances where law enforcement might be able to bypass or compromise DuckDuckGo's privacy protections. For example, if a nation-state level actor were to exploit a previously unknown vulnerability in DuckDuckGo's systems or infrastructure, well, DuckDuckGo would have to have a lot more users than that. They do have a lot, but they're not Google levels, right? Nation states would probably more. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of assuming. So let's continue. They might potentially be able to access or monitor conversations. However, this would require an extremely sophisticated target attack, and even then, it's unclear whether they would be able to de-anonymize our conversation. Another hypothetical scenario could be if DuckDuckGo would be compromised by a rogue insider, or their systems would be physically seized by law enforcement. Again, this is extremely unlikely. It's not impossible. Worth noting that DuckDuckGo has a strong track record of prioritizing user privacy and has implemented robust security measures to protect against these types of scenarios. However, as with any system, there's some residual risk. So, while it is highly unlikely that law enforcement would monitor conversations, I wouldn't say it's impossible. But I can assure you that DuckDuckGo is committed to your privacy, blah blah blah, anonymous and private. So, and my last question, of course, just to keep the pedantic train rolling, just to be that way. How can you, an AI that isn't human, assure me that DuckDuckGo is committed to protecting user privacy, a company run by humans? A fair point, thank you. As a machine, I don't have personal knowledge or assurances about DuckDuckGo's intentions or actions. My previous statement was an error on my part. I don't know if it's an error. Definitely. Well, I guess it was an error to assume that the what they say on there. Well, it says it right. What I can say about DuckDuckGo has publicly stated that their commitment to user privacy, and that has publicly stated their commitment to user privacy, and they have a track record of prioritizing privacy in their products and services. Implemented various measures to protect their privacy, such as removing identifiable metadata and not recording user conversations. And so it was just the AI assuming that their privacy statement is completely 100% true, basically. However, you're correct that I, as a machine, cannot provide personal assurances that a company's intentions or action about a company's intentions or actions. I can only provide information based on publicly available data and my training. It's always important to do your own research and evaluate the privacy policies and practices of any company or service that you use. I guess that's the reason why I made this video. I guess it's fair. There's always the risk, and it talked about the risk. I could ask it other questions, and I'd like to know if anyone cares to ask. Or no, you can ask me, or you could talk to me, or you could talk to the AI itself. But yeah, if there's any more questions about the specifics of the anonymity, I will never say that word correctly. Anyway, I don't usually make these types of videos, but I just thought this was interesting. Anyway, peace. Peace.